All right, hello, welcome everybody. This is a totally last second impromptu live stream. Let me know in the comments. Make sure that I set this up right. If you guys can hear me, if you can see me, George will be joining us, but it's going to take him a few minutes to get somewhere where he can jump on the stream. I've just been sitting here watching this like everybody else, so I wanted to get on, talk about it, see where we go. Hello to Crypto Fever. Hello, Darren. Hello, let's see, Austin. If you guys can do me a favor and smash the like button, let's try and spread this stream a little bit. This was a last second. I only gave people, I think, like 7 or 8 minutes notice. So if you could smash the like button, that would be a big help. Let's get some people on the stream. And let's talk about what's going on. Bitcoin is going insane. I was watching this on 3 or 4 different platforms. And there was like a 10-minute period where, I mean, it was just jumping up, you know, up 500, down 500, up 1,000, down 500. I mean, I've never seen Bitcoin price action like this. I think I know what's going on. I want to hear from you guys if you know anything more specific. I caught a story about an hour ago, maybe more, and it seemed like nobody cared for the first few minutes. And now this is happening. So I'm wondering, drop in the chat, what do you guys think is going on here? And then I want to talk about the Bitcoin miners, because the Bitcoin miners had some moves today. I want to talk more about that because something's going on there too, and then I'll be curious to see what happens tomorrow. And first of all, how much of this is going to hold up? Because, you know, let's see. This is a very sudden move. All right, first of all, thank you very much, FV702. $20 super chat, much appreciated. Hopefully everybody is making big bucks today. If you are, congratulations. So FV702, thanks for the super chat. And FV702 said, called it. All you Debbie Downers, Cleanspark for life. So yes, you did call it. I'll tell you, I didn't call this. I've been calling for a good October. Those of you who follow the channel, obviously the members, you guys know very well what we've been talking about. I thought we'd have a green September, which we did, but I thought we'd only be up a couple of percent. So, and then I thought we would make a run at 30 to 32,000 here in October. Well, we did that, and now we went beyond that. Let me switch over to the chart for just a minute. And I'll say hello to some more members. Let's see. Hello, Miguel. Hello, Steve, Old Jock, Mike's Money, Darren, Barry, obviously FV702. Hello again, and thank you again for the super chat. And then I'll get back to some comments, and please feel free to drop a member chat or a super chat, and let's see what is... All right. Let's see what's going on here. So we're going to talk about definitely BlackRock. So far that I can tell, BlackRock is the main reason behind this. But that just seemed to be the catalyst. That's not what's going on in the last hour. I think that's the news that broke that's making this happen, and we'll talk more about exactly what that was. But, you know, this is not necessarily BlackRock buying, and we'll get into more details in just 1 minute. But let's take a look at the chart. This is the 1 hour chart. So you can see just in this 1 hour candle, you know, and we had some really nice, we had a big day before any of this happened. So this was already right around the market close. Where's the market? These are dailies. Let me go to... Okay, so this rate here was a little bit, just about a half an hour after the market closed. This blue line right here that you see in the middle of the screen, this was our high for the year for 2023. So what we've been talking about for months on this channel was if we can just make a run up and take out this high. And believe me, we were all in the same spot. There was doubt. There was a lot of doubt. And we got right up to this, and then on the members only Discord, I posted something right when this happened, and I said we just got within like $25 of the high for the year for 2023. So to me, this was exciting. I thought, maybe we could take this out if we could, close a daily candle above this. Well, now all of a sudden we're thousands of dollars above this. We're $1,200 above this right now. And we've even dropped a little bit. This is a little bit, naturally, this is a little bit of a pullback after this massive. Let me add the volume. I don't know why the volume disappeared. Okay, so even on the 15-minute, and this is now 2 15 minutes ago, is when things really took off. This is just one 15-minute candle, and this volume, I don't think we're going to see anything. We had a spike like this. Actually, on October 16th, we had a gigantic 1 15-minute volume spike. But you can see the volume, this is strong volume, and it's holding on. We had a couple of red 15-minute candles. Now we're having another. Oh, by the way, okay, sorry, thank you. Crypto Fever. Thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. And Crypto Fever said, Cleanspark, Riot, Marathon, Bitcoin, Solana. Yeah, we haven't even talked about that thing is taking off. This is a Bitcoin Solana world all of a sudden. Was bullish. AM, bullish, will continue to be bullish on all of the above. Oh, and bullish and will continue to be bullish on all of the above. Always said, too many bears. Don't get caught FOMO buying and utilize opportunities the market gives you. Let's all make money. That was that was Crypto Fever. So, yeah, that's right on. There's another thing that's happened, it seems like, in the last 48 hours. And Crypto Fever just summed it up right there. All of a sudden, Cleanspark, Riot, and Marathon are... I'm not going to say they're the best 3 Bitcoin miners, but that they have been the 3 most popular. All of a sudden, those 3 are the favored 3 by a mile. That doesn't mean there aren't other good ones, and I'm invested in some others, but those 3 seem to be differentiating themselves. Marathon and Riot, from a market cap standpoint, are still many multiples bigger than Cleanspark. But Cleanspark had some really good price action. We'll go through what the Bitcoin miners did today. There was a sell-off at the end of the day with the Bitcoin miners. So nothing closed at its high. A few very small cap miners did have runaway days today. So we'll look at that. But when you're a $20-30 million market cap, it's a little bit easier to have these gigantic moves. But some of the big Bitcoin miners did have big moves. They did finish way up on the day, but they mostly, the top 8 or 10 finished off of their highs quite a bit. So I think there was a lot of profit taking at the end of the day. People thinking maybe, this was the run and getting out. So a lot of people, I don't know how many of those people are now getting in the Bitcoin miners after hours. The last time I checked, the Bitcoin miners were running up after hours as well. We'll see if that settled down. We'll check that in a minute. But definitely those 3, and then obviously Bitcoin's on fire. But now all of the cryptocurrency world is on the move. But I do want to go to, let's look at Solana, because that, so here we go. That is now number 7. In the last 24 hours, that's up 10%. Bitcoin's up 10%. Obviously, most of this is in the last few minutes with Bitcoin, or at least in the last hour. Bitcoin's up 16% on the week. Solana's up 33.5% on the week. So that is raging. And now if we look at the 1 hour, everything's starting to move. Ethereum broke out of its range. It's, this is up. It's up 10% in the week. XRP's up 10% on the week. So everything seems to be being pulled along with this, but obviously the big move from a market cap standpoint, the gigantic move here is in Bitcoin. So sorry, let me just switch screens here for a minute. All right, make sure I'm staying caught up. So if I've missed anybody, sorry, if you guys could please smash the like button, I would appreciate it. Helps the stream a lot, and this was an absolute last second stream. I even stood there for 5 minutes saying, should I do a stream? I kind of seems like we missed it, but I just felt like we needed to talk about this, and there was some people on the members only Discord that were saying, let's do a live stream. So I think it's worth, I mean, this is a big move to the upside. These do not happen. This is not a once a month. This is almost maybe even not a once a year. We'll see how this all shakes out. And I don't want to speak too soon, because we've seen these things before where, there's a gigantic run and then, Bitcoin takes it all back. So we'll see. But this doesn't feel like that. And, we broke out of a lot of lines of resistance. I mean, we broke through multiple lines of resistance in minutes. So, and we'll take a look at some of those. I'm waiting to see. Let me see if George is here or not. I'm going to pull up the George screen. Nope. He is not here yet. George said he is going to join us. For if you guys are wondering, I'm expecting George. He was out in the world living his life. So, it's going to take him a few minutes to get to his workstation. But George should be here. Let's put the chart back up. Want to keep our eye on Bitcoin, because let's see what's going on. And I'm encouraged because after this gigantic candle on this chart, so I'm on the Bitcoin US dollar chart, and this is the Coinbase chart on TradeView. So on here, this says we hit exactly $35,000 and 0 cents. I've seen other charts that hit a lot higher than that. So let me just poke around at a few charts. But my point is, we then had two red 15-minute candles to pull back a little bit. But this is a green candle we're in the middle of. And if we could hold 33,000, I mean, I know a part of me wants to be greedy and say we were up here around 35,000, but what we've seen lately, we've had a few things that we thought were fake outs. And I said at the time, sometimes these are more foreshadowing than they are fake outs. So when we have some of these run-ups, I would not at all be surprised with this run-up to 35,000, even though we've had a little bit of a pullback. And obviously, there's some people that just made a massive amount of money. So there's always going to be some profit taking. And, maybe people got a little bit greedy and they got caught up here. And there was some liquidations of longs for a few minutes. But obviously, all in all, I mean, we're up. I mean, this is up ridiculous. The other thing I want to look at was, we can't, not on the 15 minute. Let's go back to the 1 day. I was getting concerned that, the daily RSI, we're starting to get overbought. No kidding. I mean, this has been an unbelievable run. I'll measure this from the bottom to the top, but this has been a great run. So we're at 85 right now. So there is room to the upside. If I did this yesterday, there's a line here. I actually made this line a year ago or more at around 89.5. I think there's been 10 times in the last 7 or 8 years that we have hit this line at 89.5. We've actually gone higher than this on certain occasions. We've gone all the way up to 95. So it's fair to say we're getting a little overheated, but this does not mean that it's going to stop here, because you could have easily said that, we got overbought, technically 70s overbought. So, we were somewhere around 29,000 and we were overbought. And then we had a big move to the upside. Well, this was to about 29,500. By then, you know, we were a couple of days into being overbought. And obviously, you know, we're up $3,500 since then. And that's off of the highs that we just had. Let me try and catch up on the chat a little bit as well. So just to put it in perspective, on September 11th, we bottomed out again. I'll zoom out a little bit here. You know, we broke through. We've been looking at this in detail for a long time. We broke through on March 17th, much earlier in the year. We bounced down to 20,000, and then we broke through 25,000. We really have not closed the daily candle below that since then. And if we're going to... So my line's at 25,200. If you move it down to 25,000, we have not closed the daily candle below that, you know, in 7 months or whatever it is now. But we have retested this, you know, a strong retest in the middle of June, a strong retest again in the middle of September. So from the bottom of that candle wick until, you know, what happened here today, the high of today, this is now a 40% move to the upside at the peak. But even if I pull back to where we are right now, because, you know, that last little bit lasted for a few minutes. So we'll see if we can gain some momentum and get back there. But even without that, you know, without that last $1,500 or almost $2,000, we're still up 32%. So this is, we are in a bull run. We're not in, you know, we're not in the top of our 4-year cycle. We're not at the peak of, you know, the bull market for Bitcoin. So, you know, I know there's a lot of people that we did a survey. I don't know if it was on the Friday live stream for everybody or the members only live stream. By the way, we will do a members only live stream tomorrow after the market closes. We do that every Tuesday after the market closes. If you're not a member and you're interested in being a member, you can, it's only $5 a month. You can subscribe on, I think I hear George, you can subscribe on YouTube. It's right next to the subscribe button. There's a join button. Again, it's only $5 a month. The membership, I think, is great. There's a lot of members on here. You can ask them and see if they feel like they get their money's worth. Anyway, we will do a members-only live stream tomorrow. My point of this was...
Tom, how you doing?
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll take a break and say hello to George. Am I on split? Okay, so we are on the George screen. Smash the like button for George. Welcome, George. Welcome to the stream. We're talking about what is going on. And I haven't had a chance to read much of, other than the super chats, I really haven't had a chance to read much of the comments because I've been flying solo, and you usually are you're better at that than I am.
33,000. You know what is so funny? George, are we still going to 3K? Oh, come on, crypto. Already the first thing?
Are
we going to do polls, Tom?
Let's do a poll. You're right. We're missing.
I mean, I think we need to do a poll. Are we just going to go up from here? That would be a nice, easy poll.
How about we hit 35,000 before? Let's say, are we...
We did hit 35 already today?
Yeah, this was madness.
Oh, wow.
We're back down to 33-ish, and we've been going crazy. But it seems like, in general, it does seem like the majority of this run-up is holding for the moment. It hasn't been that long yet, but I'm pretty encouraged by the short-term price action right now.
Well, what is so interesting is I've been so scared about tomorrow in the stock market for a long, long time. And I just wonder
That's right. You've been talking about tomorrow for a while.
Talking about tomorrow for a long, long time. And which I think that if it plummets, that it's only going to help us out, personally. That's what I think.
So we'll start with a super simple question. Let's see where everybody's at on this one. Very quickly, are we going to get back above 35,000 this week? So we just, what's the opposite of a flash crash? We just flashed up to 35,000. So can we get back there? And we were just there a few minutes ago. I'll go back to the 15-minute. So we're now 4 candles later. So 1 hour ago on this chart, which is this, I'm on TradingView. They're not a sponsor. I'm just telling you guys what I'm looking at for a point of reference. So on TradingView, you can look at a bunch of different charts. So this is the Coinbase chart. I'm going to switch around to a couple other Bitcoin charts and just see if there's drastically different numbers. I will tell you, on my Robinhood, and yes, I do have a Robinhood account. They're not a sponsor either. I'm just telling you, sometimes it's the easiest, fastest way for me to make a trade. So I do that. So I mentioned, right now, actually, we have no sponsors. So if I mention something, it's not because they're a sponsor. It's just because I'm talking about it. Anyway, my point is, on Robinhood, we got up to 35,800 and something. So, and that was moving around much more volatilely than what's happening on Coinbase. That was bouncing around like a pinball. There was a 1 minute time period where, you know, we moved up and down between $500 and $1,500, maybe 20 times in 1 minute on Robinhood. So it was like the trading was out of its mind over there. And that's a subset. So obviously Coinbase is a much bigger, but let's go here.
Tom, I think we got to go for 100 likes here real quick since we're already at 83. I think I'll like it.
Hold on.
Hey, I just got 84.
Smash the like button if you would. It always helps out the live stream. It is much appreciated, of course. You guys have been helping us break records on likes on our videos, by the way, which is the only thing that's really been keeping this channel rolling. So I want to thank everybody for watching the videos and smashing the like button. And a special thanks to FE702 for a super chat and Crypto Fever for the super chat. Much appreciated.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Hey, I will tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
A big I've just bought another 1,000 shares of CleanSpark like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, you did?
I couldn't believe, look at the price action after hours. I was just like, why is it still so cheap?
Let me go look at what they're doing. Oh, does it show after hours on here?
I couldn't believe it was. I thought it would have pumped so much. It was I bought it for 457.
That's all right. That is a big pump, but that's another thing I mentioned earlier, George, that I want to talk about is even still right now, the Bitcoin miners are not running anywhere near the way Bitcoin is.
No.
So this is two gigantic green days.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is 2 gigantic green days in a row for the Bitcoin miners. But I would argue that even with these 2 green days in a row that were big up days, I think they're still lagging what they should be doing based on what Bitcoin is doing. And I'm just waiting. And I will tell you, if we don't get this tomorrow, if this holds and we're at 33,000 or 34,000 and the Bitcoin miners don't start to run, I don't even know how to explain that. To me, this is due. So CleanSpark ended up 8.5% during trading hours. In after hours right now, it's up another almost 8.5%. But all of that put together, you know, should have been just the move during the day.
Right.
And, you know, it took this. I mean, you're right. With this move after hours, these things should be. And after hours trading volume can be thin, although I suspect on Marathon, Riot, and CleanSpark, the trading volume is quite large even after hours right now. But let's see what those 3 are doing, because those 3 seem to be the. Marathon was the winner on the day today. It was up almost 13%, 12.76. It's up 8.5% after hours. And let's see what Riot is doing.
Craig, hang on. Craig Anderson, congratulations. He retired on the 19th. That's awesome, dude. Sorry.
Congratulations. Very nice. Yes. So see, you retired and now your retirement money's already making you money. That didn't take long. So Riot had a nice day, 9% during the day and just under 9% right now. I mean, that's a nice day, but compared to where Bitcoin is, Bitcoin's now at its new high. Pardon me. Bitcoin just crushed its 2023 high for the year. And still, the majority of all the Bitcoin miners are down somewhere between 35 and 60% off of their highs from 2023. So by the time, by the time Bitcoin's now taken out its high, I would expect these to start catching up. In reality, and I know the halving sits out there, and that's a downward force on the Bitcoin miners in the short term. There's no doubt about it. But this should be enough to counteract that. So we'll see. We'll see if we keep running. Let me get back to the chart. Let me get back to the 15-minute.
So as you do that, Wall Street crash of 1929. It was on October 24th.
Oh, it was.
That's why I've been nervous about tomorrow for a long, long time. Lost 11% of its market value in opening bell. Very heavy trading. And then I mean, it wasn't the day. They called it Black Thursday. So I was worried about that being the beginning of the, downfall of. And then October 28th was Black Monday. And that was when the Dow went down 38.33.
This is in 1987 you're talking about this time, no? Or was that still during this run?
This is still during that run of 1929. That's 12.82%. Yeah. And then 11. So in a total of 4 days, it lost almost 50% of its value.
What day in 1987? I thought it was also October in 87 where we had that October monster crash.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it wasn't the Great Depression, but I think actually that one day was worse than any of those days. I believe. So somebody was saying most of the miners are down 50 to 60% from where they were 3 months ago. That was true 2 days ago. We've had two nice up days in a row, but they're still down significantly off of their highs. But yes, let me bring up the chart.
It was October 19th of 1987. It dropped 22.6%.
22.6%. Yeah, that was, man, it felt like more.
That's what I've been worried about for tomorrow. I don't know why I picked tomorrow, but that was the day I picked.
Let me see if I can, let me bring a chart up. Well,
look at that. It's coming back down, by the way.
Where are we at?
Well, on live coin watch, it says 32,637.
All right, let me get back to the chart in a minute. I just found this chart that I was looking for, so let me pull
I just love my XRP, just so everybody knows. It's more of a stable growth. Looking at 54 cents, 3.31% today. When does it change? Any hour, right? In the next 20 minutes. I think is when it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 20 minutes from now is the official end of the daily candles. So we have pulled back a little bit. We're at 32,800, but still, let's remember, the goal, the big goal, the giant win today was going to be if we got past this blue line, which was the high for the year, which was at 31,800. So, we're at almost $1,000 above that right now. And that has a lot of profit taking going on in the last hour after what was, I mean, this is one of those candles. I know a lot of people talk about the God candle. This one 15-minute candle from the bottom to the top was almost 10%. And that's after we got, and this often happens too. Here's on the 15, as soon as this 15-minute candle closed above this line of resistance, once again, we were off to the races.
Come on, 702. Thanks for the super chat. But how am I the buzzkill? I'm sorry.
Are you
Hang on,
buzzkilling? What?
I'm gonna sell. Just because you guys want me to sell, I'm gonna sell it right now. Let's see what it. It's probably already down. I'm going to check.
Oh, thank you, FV702, for the super chat. $5 to change this buzzkill conversation. Since George bought CleanSpark, we are now down. All right, FV702, let's change the conversation.
I'm just
Let's
telling
move back
everybody, I was
up.
nervous about tomorrow. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Somehow we moved into the Great Depression. We went from Bitcoin off to the races to the Great Depression.
I'm really selling. I'm selling. I'm going to sell my 1,000 shares I just bought. I'm selling them. I wish you guys could see this because I really will do it. Ooh. I'm going to lose my fee.
Oh,
I can sell it for the exact same thing.
Now you guys should be able to see the chart better. I think I had it on the wrong mode. So okay, we're back into positive talk. No more Great Depression, no more, because we've got the opposite going on here. Let's get back to the chart. 32,800. So let's take a look at the poll, and then we'll get a new poll going. Let's see what people think here.
Oh.
Are we going to get back
I
above?
sold all. Hey guys, thank you. I sold all of them.
You sold
everything. Let me
everything.
tell you what I made. Huh?
All right, let's quick hear, because that was a quick trade by you.
I made $30. It only cost me 50 cents.
You made $30?
I'm doing it to help the channel out. Just so you guys all know.
I hope you don't kick yourself
I sold
tomorrow.
1,000 shares. Immediately went like that.
All right.
I didn't
That's
sell
not
my
too
big
bad.
holding,
I was
going
gonna
to
say you make.
stuff.
I thought you sold the whole shooting match, but
thanks for selling 702. There you go. Thank you.
and thank you for the super chat, FV702.
It's all
Much
gone. I sold them
appreciated.
all. If we should go back on the bull run.
That's right. We're okay. So, in a massive also change in sentiment, we've been doing polls for the last, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks, George. Our polls have been anywhere from 50-50 to 60-40. People have been unbelievably split on, when we talk about, is Bitcoin going down, is Bitcoin going up, is Bitcoin, what's going to happen next? They've been super split. So here, we just got our 100th vote on this poll. And are we going back to 35,000 this week? 78% are saying yes, we are going to go back to 35,000. So sentiment has shifted for sure. What I will be curious, I think we're also 15 minutes away from getting an update on the fear and greed index. So I want to look at that because I think we could have a giant move on that as well. This definitely, I'm gonna run with it. This isn't FOMO. I'm not buying anything, but what I am buying is I agree with everybody. I think we just had a breakout. We've been on the verge of this. We've been talking about this for a while, and this feels like a legit breakout. So I'm not calling it, right? Anything can happen.
We've been calling this for October, for all of October, and I was doubting myself, Tom. We've been saying this since October 1st when we started talking about Bitcoin about this month because September was such a train wreck. So we knew that this was coming. We all did. It just, they make us wait for it.
They bring the pain.
Yep.
And we'll see if they try and give us a little fake out again. So we're still holding strong. What do we need to hold here today? I mean, obviously, we're just minutes away from the close of a daily candle. I mean, that would be a huge... If we have a daily candle even at 32.5, that would be a monumental... That would be the highest... That would be the highest daily candle close of the year, and it would be by a lot because I'll look at the chart right now. Previously on Bitcoin, our highest daily candle for the year, I think it was this. So the high of the year was 31,862. That candle closed at 31,471, and that was the highest of the year. So, you know, we could be $700 or $800 or maybe even $1,000. Yeah, sorry, actually 31.4. We're looking at being maybe $1,400 or $1,500 above that as we speak. So if we close a daily candle $1,000 or more higher than the highest daily candle of the year, I would call that a clear breakout. This is, you know, this was our line of resistance, and I'll tell you, I think there's a reason this ran up to 35. I was talking about, what did you ask me 3 hours ago, George? I'll remind you if you don't remember, but we had a conversation about where's Bitcoin going, and, you know, what's the...
someone's starting to build out their positions for an ETF. Everybody, 702. If you're right, you know how much money you just cost me, 702? If that ETF is approved this week, you know how much money I just got? I mean, I can't even imagine. But anyways,
I do think that's what's going on. There was a filing today, and BlackRock did a filing. They revised their ETF, and they resubmitted it. And in that, and if I'm not getting the words exactly right, the effect is the same. Basically, in that, they said they are starting to, I don't remember what their language was, but essentially they're starting to build out their position in preparation to begin the ETF, which, you know, in layman terms means they're buying Bitcoin. So that was BlackRock that said that. They said that. That news broke a couple of hours ago. And I will tell you, it seemed like for the first hour, it didn't really move the needle. And that, you know, we had, that was in, where's the, let me go back to the 15-minute. You know, that was somewhere down here. So I guess it picked up momentum faster than I thought. You know, that may have been somewhere around here. And then we had a couple of little moves to the upside. And then all of a sudden we had this gigantic breakout. So BlackRock was the catalyst, like it or not. And I don't think it's the Bitcoin that they bought. I think it's the fact that they have announced, listen, we are starting to build out our ETF. We're opening our position and getting ready. So, here is a great point that we got to talk about. We've been talking about DTC all this month long. I talked about, I think even in September, the end of September, I started talking about I'm putting a large amount of money into crypto. And that was, I said, I just feel it. I feel that there's some momentum moving dollar
in crypto.
Cost averaging. Is that what you're...
Yes. Yeah, sorry. Is that my DTC? Dollar cost averaging. Oh, yeah, DCA, sorry. But that's what you got to do. Because if you did that, it doesn't really matter if it went up a whole bunch right now. It just matters that it goes up. And that's the thing that we forget when we're at least I do. I'm talking to myself more than anybody else. Because I always try to sell, like when I think it's going to plummet, I try to get out. You know what I mean? Well,
and these continued reminders, this is like anything else. This is all every self-help book is. It's basically telling you what you already know, but you got to remind yourself. So in every way possible, whether you read it, talk to your friends about it, what George is talking about, you know, dollar cost averaging in, this is not financial advice. You guys can play this any way you want. You can see George just bought and sold some real quick in the matter of minutes. But by the same token, he has been consistently dollar cost averaging into XRP for several years. So, and from my perspective, you guys know I am more of a buy and hold person. So I've been dollar cost averaging in for years at this point. And it's made all the difference in the world. If I had stopped dollar cost averaging in, you know, when I got discouraged and things were down, when it's hardest to buy, you know, looking back, you go, oh man, back when Bitfarms was at 38 cents, that was a no-brainer. Well, it wasn't a no-brainer. The conventional wisdom when Bitfarms was at 38 cents is they're going to do a reverse stock split and, you know, go down another 90% after that. And if you don't believe me, you can go back and check the tapes, because there were 5 or 6 of these Bitcoin miners. Every single Friday on our live stream, we talked about and did a poll, are they going to need to do a reverse stock split? And overwhelmingly, the vast majority of people felt, when we were at the bottom, they felt things were going to get much worse for the Bitcoin miners. And, you know, obviously as a function of that, probably Bitcoin. So it's hardest to buy at those times. But, you know, my biggest my biggest buying period was November and December of 2022. Now, I've bought in a lot in 2023 as well. I've continued to dollar cost average all along. But now, you know, I went from a world where 10 months ago, everything I had was desperately in the red. I mean, right? I mean, it seemed hopeless. And now I have plenty of things that are in the green. The one thing that is not in the green, and somebody asked me in the comments section today of one of my videos, something to the effect of, you know, did you dump all your Iris energy? And I will tell you guys, the answer to that is no. I did not sell anything today, not one thing. And this was one of those days where it was an emotional roller coaster because, again, to remind everybody, if you look at this chart, before all of this gigantic thing that I did this quickie live stream, emergency live stream for, this all happened after the market closed. This was a phenomenal day before the market closed. So this was a day where all day long, you know, it's that FOMO tug of war inside of you. Is it time to buy more, you know, and get in before, you know, the train really leaves the station? Or is it time to sell now and take profits? Or should I get out of the ones that, you know, Iris Energy was lagging behind today? So, you know, there was a big temptation to say, you know what? I'll tell you what I was thinking of doing, and I didn't do it. And I think the difference between what I think about doing and what I end up doing, I pretty much stick to my plan. Having said that, I think about breaking my plan all the time. But I've gotten to the point where I don't do it. I just don't do it. And today was one of those days where it was all I could take. I was actually going to just sell all my Iris and move it into...
Glad you didn't.
I wasn't really going to do it, but in my mind, I'm like, I got to do this. This is what makes sense. Iris, and I have a reason why. I actually think Iris is a good company, and they're going to do well, but I think their stock is going to have, you know, maybe linger past where some of these others are going to run a little faster. They announced a $500 million at-the-market offering. I mean, it's that simple. As a $200 million company, they announced a $500 million at-the-market offering, but they did more than that. They did something that's unusual. They immediately, on that same day, followed it up with a plan and a presentation because that was the day that they had their earnings. They immediately said, we're going to spend 100% of this and more. We have a $626 million growth plan. Now,
hey, hang
go
on
ahead,
a sec.
George.
Aris, are you really being serious? You don't know what a Bitcoin is? Because, I mean, we take people to be like jokesters, and most people, I mean, but if you don't know, I'll tell you what it is. But you got to put another comment in there. Go on, Tom.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, does that person mean they don't know, like, you know, they
what
don't
Bitcoin is?
understand
What
thoroughly?
What is big? No, he said, what is Bitcoin?
Oh.
And then we're starting to pump again, and everybody thinks it's because I sold Cleanspark.
I think that too. If we're still
Shut up. And crypto, I still don't think we're out of the woods yet. But I will tell you the one thing that changes my mind with Bitcoin more than anything is that ETF. The ETF is not in my equation if it will crash only if the ETF doesn't happen. If ETF happens, I have to reassess where Bitcoin's going. That's my answer.
Well, and
Sorry, go on.
It's going to be hard to... Well, the one way it won't be hard to say is if it happens, then we're going to know it happened. If it doesn't happen, then I think we will now be in a perpetual state of feeling like we're about to get a Bitcoin ETF until such time as it happens. I really thought we were still a little bit away. I've been saying I'm extremely confident we're going to get one before the halving. But trying to put a date on it prior to that, I've been a little leery of, you know, because everything takes longer than you think. But now all of a sudden, you know, the hype has gone to a place where now I'm expecting, you know, sometime in the next 30 or 60 days, we're going to get this Bitcoin ETF. I know there's people that are expecting sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours we're going to get it. So we'll see. Listen, I hope everybody's right. The sooner the better. Let's get it done. And then we're going to see that this was only the warm-up, in my opinion. You know, this run up to 35.
You guys are so funny. They're saying reverse me. They want to do instead of a Jim Cramer, they want to do a reverse George ETF.
But only. It's funny. Sometimes they tell you you're right all the time, and then sometimes now they want to do a reverse you. But although I will tell you, on CleanSpark in specific, for whatever reason, you just might as well either buy that and hold it forever or never buy it again because.
Oh, I still have a lot of shares.
You have your main position. You just
I
bought
just
and sold
bought
your little
1,000
extra piece.
Yeah. I didn't sell. I've got those. I got between that and Marathon too. That's the other one. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't sell my Marathon.
Oh,
I kept
you
it.
held your Marathon.
Yeah, I've kept it all the way through.
What's the next poll?
I'm not getting rid of it now. What's that?
Congratulations and good job. Oh, we need one more viewer to have 200 viewers. Woo-hoo. According to my screen. I don't know what everybody else's says.
199.
I'm never in real time. I don't think we've ever had that. So first of all, thank you thank you FV702 for another super chat. Very kind of you.
Biggest day ever. Thanks to CleanSpark video and all the updates. Saw the light. George, buy it again and don't tell us thanks.
I mean, I don't want to overhype, but I got a feeling if this was your biggest day ever, there's bigger days ahead. Because I do think if we hold this, and this doesn't even mean we have to go to the moon. If we can hold this move, if we can just creep back up to 35,000 and maybe make a run even past that, the Bitcoin miners have an awful lot of catching up to do. And they will. The biggest fear that everybody was having, and I just did a video on this, if we got to the halving and Bitcoin was still at, somewhere between $28,000 and $30,000, the math was going to be ugly on that. And every $5,000 makes a monumental difference on that math. And I know there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that are talking about, unless Bitcoin's at $60,000, the Bitcoin miners are in big trouble. I don't want to say that they're wrong, but in my opinion, they're wrong. According to my math, and I can't tell the future. This is not financial advice, but I've done the detailed. For those of you who follow the channel, you'll know this is all I sit around and do. I've done everybody's break-even point based on some pretty reasonable assumptions because there's a lot of moving parts, one of which is the difficulty level. So I've assumed actually the difficulty level will not go down at the halving, as a more likely case scenario. And still, most of these companies do not need Bitcoin 60,000 to be, okay. All right. So I think that kind of went around. Bitcoin 40,000 is a game changer versus Bitcoin 30,000 for a lot of these Bitcoin miners. And for a few of them, that's their brink point where it's the difference between maybe making it and not making it. So as we go up, obviously for the Bitcoin miners that are healthier, that have a stronger balance sheet, that have a lower cost per coin, some of these Bitcoin miners will be fine at 30 or 35,000. They're not going to be happy. Nobody's going to be happy at Bitcoin 30,000 at the halving, but I think we'll be less shocked than maybe we would have been a year ago. But if we can move out of that range, which seems to be happening, that is going to be a very good thing, especially for, Riot and Marathon, and I'm going to put Hut in there, even though I know Hut operationally, Hut had a bad year. I guess I have to say that's my opinion. I think objectively, from a Bitcoin mining standpoint, they mined significantly less than they did the year before. So, in that single regard, they had a bad year. But they did other things, and they have an extremely strong balance sheet. So the three I would call out, and there are others, but by far, Marathon, Riot, and Hut have balance sheets where they're not so worried about the halving. The halving does not mean nearly as much to them. There are a lot of other companies that, don't have a big cash reserve. They don't have a strong balance sheet. And their cost per coin and Bitcoin's price at the halving may make the difference between a make or a break. So for some of these other miners. So these moves up are very important. There's a lot of very happy executives at some of these Bitcoin mining companies. If you guys think we're happy, maybe we'll try and get some of these guys on right away.
Oh,
because, I'm sure. And they're going to have to be tempered in their...
I can tell you I didn't see anything, and I won't see where I saw this, but they were saying 150K at the halving. And they have, like, 6 really geeky guys that came up with the numbers. And I was just like, how is that possible?
150K?
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'll vote for that.
Crazy.
I don't.
And we started talking about it. Yeah, I mean, that's what they were saying. They said they might miss it by a few months, but it's going to be sometime.
All right, we just closed a daily candle. Sorry to interrupt you, George. We just closed a daily candle. So this daily candle closed at $33,084. So that's a daily candle above $33,000. I should be able to press refresh and see what happened to the fear and greed index. So this is in real time. This is where it was today. I'm going to press refresh because it should have just changed a minute ago. So let's see. Any guesses, George? I think we had a big jump in this today. I mean, I'd be surprised if the fear and greed index...
I would think it went up. I think it jumped.
I'm looking for 60, but let's see.
Yeah.
Boom, 66.
60, yeah.
The fear and greed index is now at 66 in greed. That is a high for the year. Bitcoin's at its high for the year. The fear and greed index is at its high for the year. And for those of you who are not that familiar with the fear and greed index, being in greed at the bottom of greed is not a bad thing. That's when bull runs occur. So somewhere between, 60 or 65 and 80 or 85 is where almost all of the gigantic runs in Bitcoin happen. So we're just on the brink of this. Now, I don't know that we're going to hold this. Obviously, this could be a fake out, but everything we're looking at, and I'm glad we just got to watch that one in real time together. That's a huge, huge jump. So if I refresh here, so you'll see we got to 63 on October 21st, and that was really an outlier because other than that, it looks like, around 53 was the high of the year this year. This is the 3-month. If I do the 1 year, oh, well, actually, this is the 1 year. So we've done this before. So remember from the middle of June to July, this is the last time Bitcoin hit its all-time high. And you can see it got up into the mid-60s there. We got all the way down. It flash crashed down to 30. Now we're all the way back up. Is 66 the high for the year? No. It is not. 69 it looks like. But it's clearly a breakout.
For this year?
For this year. So that's the high for this year, which was much, much earlier in the year. But this is a breakout. We've spent, we dropped back into the 30s several months ago now. Well, just not even 2.5 months ago. But the last couple of months. But we've seen a clear upward trend in this. So this has had an upward trend. The daily RSI has had an upward trend. I want to show you that. We looked at that earlier, but let's look at it again. I mean, look at so I have a bunch of down arrows here. These are the 3 pullbacks we've had in 2023. 3 different times Bitcoin's pulled back 20%. This last time, not only did it pull back 20%, it stayed there for 2 months. This was brutal. But it's time to draw this arrow. And it's also...
Dude, this is insane to watch my account. It's just insane.
Right now, we just had this. We went from oversold all the way down to 21. This green line is basically... It has been lower than this, but this is historically oversold. Somewhere down around 21. Well, we hit that back in August. That's one of the times we bounced off at 25,000. 25,000, I don't know if you guys remember. We talked about this on the channel. This was a point where we debated greatly. Is this going to hold? This got tested and retested and retested and retested, but it held, and that turned out to be the bottom. And, we've had a nice run since then. What's our next poll, George? Because The people have spoken. We have 154 votes. 79% of the people think we're going to hit 35,000. All right, so now we've established that. Now let's see this. Okay. Another simple. I'm trying to keep these simple without a lot of choices. These are just yes or no questions. We all believe, or not all of us, the vast majority said yes, we're going to hit 35,000. Can we run to 40,000 by the end of the year? And I will tell you, just a week ago, and for the last 3 months before that, 40,000 would have been considered an extremely, extremely optimistic price target based on every poll we ever had. Almost nobody thought we were going to 40,000 by the end of the year, myself included. So I'm not saying, anybody was right or anybody was wrong. That's how it felt. That was the sentiment. But this is how fast Bitcoin can change, and this is why cryptocurrency, it's a love-hate relationship, and it's a feast or famine relationship, and you got to be made up a certain way to buy and hold cryptocurrency. We focus on Bitcoin on this channel. We talk about a few other cryptocurrencies, but even Bitcoin is unbelievably volatile, and the rest of the crypto universe is another level more volatile than that. The Bitcoin miners are more volatile than that. In some ways, the Bitcoin miners are equal, the type of volatility level that some of the small altcoins have. They're capable of gigantic ups and downs they're a highly leveraged play on Bitcoin. I did see somebody, FB702, MicroStrategy made $380 million today, and they made me a part of that because I did start dollar cost averaging into MicroStrategy several months ago. And just so that everybody knows, because at the time somebody said, man, Tom has shifted his concept and he's moving away from the miners. Are you moving into MicroStrategy instead? Well, I didn't sell other than what I told everybody when I sold 1/3 of my Iris position the day they announced, $626 million of dilution is coming. And that's really the only sale I've done. Other than that, I've continued to dollar cost average into the Bitcoin miners. Slower, right? I did a lot of heavy. Go ahead, George. You were saying?
Would you have changed your opinion on Iris if they didn't ask for so much money?
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
They didn't ask for double their market.
100%.
Don't you think that was their flaw?
I think it was a mistake. And here's the thing. I just think, and this has to do with seasoned management and just being a little more savvy. And, they'll probably say, who are you to say that? And, to an extent, they're right. They're management of a publicly traded company. They can do whatever they want. And this could work out extremely well for them in the long term. I like their company. But I will tell you, it totally changed my opinion. A $500 million at the market offering for a $200 million company is not the way that you do this. Everybody knew they were going to spend, I don't know if it was 400 million, 500 million, 600 million. We knew they are building out a 600 megawatt facility sometime over the next couple of years. So to build that facility, to build out the infrastructure, to buy the machines to fill it up, we could all do the math. We knew that was coming. But most companies take this off, right? We take bites. We don't shove the whole sandwich in our mouth because when you do, you choke to death. So I feel like that's what they did.
And it's so stupid. Right. And it was just, and what's so sad is to understand the economics of it is where I can't even comprehend. You want to raise more money than what your company's worth. That just doesn't make sense to me. And I think that maybe they thought they were being the big boys, showing them how they wanted to get to this size.
I think it was two things. I think that was a part of it, George. I think it was two things. I think from their perspective, and I don't want to speak for them. I don't know what was in their head. But to me, what it felt like was, number one, they wanted to show, look, there's going to be an elite group of Bitcoin miners. They're going to be 20 plus exahash. We're going to be one of them. The second thing I think they were trying to show is, listen, we're totally transparent. We're going to tell you our whole plan from start to finish right now. Well, those are all good intentions, but for me, my assessment was the market's not going to like this, and the stock's going to pay the price for it. Now, as it turns out, they did that virtually simultaneously with this 14-week window that we've been talking about, 1 week at a time. All the Bitcoin miners crashed during that same time. So you could not tell so much as to whether or not that hurt them or not. But where I think you're going to be able to tell is from here forward. On a day where Bitfarms was up 10%, HUT was up 13%, Riot 9%, Marathon almost 13%, Iris Energy was up 1.9%. And I think there's a reason for that, and I think that's the reason. Cypher, I've been talking about all year long. Somebody asked me a question on one of the last live streams, or it might have been in the comments section. Please explain to me why Cypher has a higher market cap than CleanSpark. And my answer was, I can't explain that. So I think that's going to correct itself over time. That is my opinion. That is not financial advice. Obviously, I don't know. And here's the thing. Once again, I think Cypher is a great company. I feel highly confident they'll be one of the winners if Bitcoin does its thing. But I don't understand how they're worth more than CleanSpark. Their production is lower than CleanSpark. Their amount of money they've invested in infrastructure is significantly less than CleanSpark. Their plans on a moving forward basis are significantly less than CleanSpark's. So, again, I like Cypher. If you're invested in that, I'm not telling you to buy it or sell it. I think they're going to be one of the winners. But I think my personal opinion is they are going to lag as some of these Bitcoin miners go off to the races. A few of these are going to lag behind, and that's always the case. So the question is, each one of us has our own opinion on, which Bitcoin miner falls into which category. I think Iris and Cypher are probably two that are, just like they did lag today pretty significantly, I think that trend will continue. Then there'll be a day out of left field where they're, the best one of the day, because that's how this works. It's also worth mentioning BitDeer once again on one of the best days ever. They're down another 8%. So if I go, where did I put that chart? BitDeer is now down in this 14-week window of time that we've been looking at this. You'll see, and this is through last Friday, so this does not count, I guess, just today. It doesn't count today. But, of course, Bitcoin went through the roof today, so Bitcoin was 2% off of its high for the year. It's now, way past its high for the year. And you'll see, to what somebody earlier was in the comment section was saying, all these Bitcoin miners are down plus or minus 50%, all of them except for the ones that are even way worse than that. At the very bottom of this list is BitDeer, down 77%. That's before what happened today. 5 or 6 weeks ago, BitDeer was the number one performing stock on this list. So it went from the number one performing Bitcoin miner on this list to last place in somewhere between 5 to 6 weeks. This is a historic collapse in the price of their stock. They trade on very low volume. We've talked about this for 2 or 3 months. What is the deal with BitDeer? It makes no sense. So it didn't make sense, at one extreme. I'm not sure it makes sense at the other. I have stayed away from it for that reason.
Tom, this is what it says in the chat. Jakin, it says, do not overlook Bitfarms. And it's crazy because Tom is huge on Bitfarms. Go ahead, Tom.
If there's one thing I have not done in my portfolio anyway is overlook Bitfarms. So thank you for mentioning that, whoever mentioned it. I'm bullish on Bitfarms. because they've been around $1 and then they dipped under $1, psychologically for a lot of people, especially if you hold Bitfarms, dipping under $1 felt very bad, and it seemed like Bitfarms was performing much, much worse than its peers. But if you look at this chart right here, Bitfarms is here at down 48% in this 14-week period. So actually, it's one of, I mean, that's bad, but it's better than almost all the rest of the Bitcoin miners. So I just think psychologically, and I felt this myself, even though I continued to hold in dollar cost average in, it felt very awful at $1.08, $1.03. You know, George got to spend 2 or 3 weeks making fun of me. It's going to go under $1. It's going to go under $1. And then it did go under $1. It got down, I think, to 94 cents. And that seemed like a catastrophe. But you can see all it was doing is behaving like all the other Bitcoin miners. No better, no worse. If anything, maybe a little bit better. And it had a nice day today. They did have a press release. I believe that was today, although so much has happened today. It's all a blur. I think they announced today they went from 6.1 exahash up to 6.3 exahash. And they added a little bit to their, I think it's Baycomo, if I'm pronouncing that right, which I'm probably not. So they're building out the first half of that. I think they finished the first half of that. The second half of that is not going to be finished for a while. I will tell you, I am expecting, in addition to everything that they're doing, they're very, operationally, they're a highly effective company. I'm expecting, based on, I'm reading between the lines, so this may not happen. But I'm expecting them to come out with an announcement sometime sooner than later, certainly long before the end of the year, that they are going to make a big purchase of the S21 machines. They talked about the S21 machines on their earnings call, and then Ben Gagnon, who we've had on the channel just a few days ago, put out a tweet about how great those machines are, and we talked on the live stream, I think on Friday, you know, why is he talking about this machine and how great it is when Bitfarms doesn't even own any of those? And my speculation is because they're about to buy a bunch of them. Also, the price of those has fallen through the floor. Bitmain, you know, is practically giving away machines. So I'm not only do I think they're going to do that, I want them to do that. I hope they do that because, you know, if there's any downward pressure left on the price of these machines, it's insignificant. These machines are they're pennies on the dollar for what they were, you know, a year ago or years ago. For the members only, I'm doing an analysis on that on the Stronghold video that I was in the middle of until all of this happened. So I still think I'll get that out to the members tomorrow. That was our members only pick last week. So I go through an analysis of just how much these machines have gone down in price. It's staggering. So I'm looking for a bunch of companies, including Bitfarms, to buy a big chunk of these machines. So again, that's my speculation. I don't know that, but that's what I think. Will Bitcoin hit? Go.
Tom. Question.
Yes.
Who's gonna do the best tomorrow?
Which company? Well, are you buying any CleanSpark? That's the question.
I agree. Somebody wrote CleanSpark should be to $10, and I totally agree with that.
I think it will be, but I don't think that's a tomorrow thing. And it's harder and harder, you know, people trying to put a price target on these Bitcoin miners on a specific date that's, you know, in the short term is tough because we see there's so many big fluctuations but today, obviously, everybody's feeling good. So our next poll, will Bitcoin hit 40,000 by 2023? I'm taking a screen capture of that one so that I can save it because that's a winner. So once again, we are at 79%. So this went almost identical to the last vote. So confidence is high right now. We're going to take a run to 40,000. That doesn't mean we're going to stay at 40,000, right? Bitcoin moves around. So we'll see. But a nice run up to 40,000. I'll be a happy camper. I'll tell you that right now. And we now have a green candle today so far. So obviously we're only a few minutes into the day. So way too early to call that, but better off to start green than start red. And more importantly, we're holding 33,000. We're at 33,183. Yep.
I'm sneaking out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Members.
All right, George, thanks for joining us.
For watching.
Have a great night.
Go Bitcoin.
Switch over. We'll keep the chart up. Oh, what did I do? There we go. All right, so I'm going to try to get to... I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon, too, because this is impromptu. It's late where I am. I haven't eaten dinner or anything like that. But I did want to definitely get on and talk to everybody. We are now at 80%, 80 to 20 on this poll. So I'm going to end this poll. Are we going to get to 40,000? It looks like there's a super majority here that thinks this run is going to continue. So I love to see it. I'm on board right now. You guys can criticize me later, but if it doesn't play out that way, but I feel really good about getting a run back up to 35,000, and I think there's a really good chance we take a run. 36,000 was my number. But now, we hit 35,000 today. So I don't know. Now I feel like we can push past that number. Let's see. So someone's asking, when are we going to get to 69,000, which is our all-time high? So this is where it gets really hard. It is so hard to say. So many things are going to happen. I think there's an awful lot of positive catalysts left ahead. I think we've had an awful lot of negative things that are in the rearview mirror. There'll be more. We don't even know what the next FUD that is going to occur that we haven't even heard of yet. So we'll see. Don't expect a straight line. We always know, don't expect a straight line. Nothing goes up in a straight line. I mean, the last week's been a straight line up, but that only means that we're probably more likely to have a little bit of a pullback somewhere in here. Mr. Luriena, sorry if I pronounced that. Welcome to the Talkin' Investing Squad. I don't know if you just joined right now. If you're a new member, then congratulations. Thank you for joining. There's a bunch of, if you go to the members only section, you'll see there's probably 50 videos there that we've done for the members only. So that's all sitting there for new members. You can hook up to our members only Discord as well. We have a conversation, obviously, continuously going in the members-only Discord, and you can join us tomorrow on another live stream. So, hopefully by tomorrow, we'll see a little bit more how this has played out. All of this action today is extremely, extremely encouraging. So, I feel like the price action that we got today, and as is so often the case, once we break through a line of resistance, we run. So, what was the catalyst? I think it was BlackRock. I don't know if you guys have another theory out there, but it seems to me like the word that BlackRock is starting to build their position in anticipation of their Bitcoin spot ETF, I think was the after-hours catalyst for this thing to run on what was already a really, really good day. We've had a bunch of green days in a row here. Well, 2. So it's worth noting, for those of you holding some of the smaller Bitcoin miners, I'll scroll a little bit, and GREE was up 21.6% today. There was a couple of giant movers, but these are tiny, tiny market caps. These are nano cap stocks. GREE was up 21.6%. Who else? Core Scientific, 15.8%. They're, in Chapter 11 right now. So a lot of you may not even have access to that stock. DMG is also traded over the counter. They were up 16.8% today. Argo Blockchain was up 16% today. These are all of the smallest market cap companies. At one point, where's Eni? Eni was way up. It may have pulled back. No, Eni was up 17% today. Eni Sphere 3D. So, you know, it's easier to push around a $25 million market cap company than it is a $1 billion market cap company. So some of those had even bigger moves to the upside. I do not hold any of the companies that I just mentioned. If you can see this, if my head's not blocking, you can see Luxfolio was up almost 58% today. MGT Capital was up 50%. These are tiny. I never ever talk about these, so I'm mentioning them because they popped up on the screen. I usually try to keep those below the fold so people don't even see those, just because they're so unbelievably small. You know, the trading volume is minuscule. So if you're holding those, you know, congratulations. But obviously, for me, anything under, you know, really under $50 million, I've stayed away from for the most part, because at that point, it's a nano cap stock and it's just a little bit of a different animal. Doesn't mean it can't be a good company. Some of these are probably very good companies. Some of them I have followed when they were larger companies, so I'm pretty familiar with some of these, but some of them I have not put a lot of time into. And MicroStrategy, it is worth mentioning. MicroStrategy was up 8.5% today. I am interested what this did after hours, so let's see. So MicroStrategy was up 8.5% today. It was up another 6.5% after hours. We have no idea. That's the other thing I always caution everybody. You guys know, after hours trading, pre-market trading, that doesn't always represent what's actually going to happen once the market opens. So please always be careful with that as well. But if this can hold, it looks like tomorrow should be another very good day for everybody. So congratulations, everybody, on, you know, the best day of the year, I guess, for Bitcoin. A really good day for Bitcoin miners. I think it could have been better. I think if this trend continues, we're going to get a lot more movement on these Bitcoin miners. FE702, thanks for the super chat. Bitcoin running again tonight. Peace out. CleanSpark. So I think everybody knows CleanSpark's the thing. I believe that's the position I bought the most of in the year 2023, and it was already one of my big positions coming in. So that's one I have a high level of a conviction in. Again, not financial advice, but you know, I try to let you guys know what I'm doing in general. So thank you. Special thanks to all of the members for showing up on the super chat. Welcome to our new member. Also special thanks to everybody who gave a super chat. It's much appreciated on these up days. Thanks for sharing. It helps the channel out a lot. And much appreciated. YouTube doesn't necessarily cooperate, but you guys have been helping the channel find a way to, you know, have some good days here in the middle of what's been a rough run. So much appreciated. So thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic night. Thanks for joining on this impromptu live stream. We are at 33,319. So let's hope, you know, tomorrow for the members, when we meet on our members chat, let's hope we're up from there. Have a great night. Thanks again, everybody. And congratulations. Hopefully you guys made some decent money today.